Hello everyone. PlayStation, the perfect thing for a hot summer's day. My name is PetaQ. I am the most prolific Master System speedrunner, but today I'm being a little bit slutty because I'm playing a PlayStation game and a Genesis game, and then tomorrow I'm going to be playing a Nintendo game, but don't tell my Master System, he will get jealous. So we are in the slutty block here, and I've got a What the Hell Is This Game for you by Crystal Dynamics. I am going to take you back to 1998, and we have got a derivative of chess with the derivative of a fighting game meshed together in the Unholy War. We've got a little bit of an opening animatic for you here as well, so we'll show you what's going on. In a planet far, far away, some alien space guys have invaded and they want to take over. This is not just any planet, however. I know we're at the NissanTV marathon, but this is the planet Zara. Now you're all wondering, what's the connection? Well, this game came out in 1998, and 1 year before, Citroën released a car called the Zara. Coincidence? I think not. Other brands of planets are available. As a Formula 1 fan, God only knows what the Ferrari planet is like. So we've got a bunch of different monsters here who've all got different powers. Ooh, boobies. Very nice. Pepsi Man's evil cousin here. And this is a cult classic by Eidos, The Unholy War. It's like a strategy fighting game, and I'm not good at classical fighting games, but I used to be a chess player. I love a bit of strategy, and this mixes the two in a really cool little speedrun. There's a variety of different ways you can play this game. So there's Mayhem mode, which is these little characters fighting one-on-one in teams. And then you beef that up with hexes, because we all know, we grew up with blockbusters. If you want strategy, you must use hexagons. And you can have a board game style conflict as well. And we're going to do the strategy mode today. Okay, so Mayhem mode, I'm just going to show you what this looks like right now briefly. We've got the Technos and the Arcane sides, and the Technos are the invaders who want to come and conquer the planet Zara, and the Arcanes are the natives who prefer to use magic. And you've got various different maps that you can use. So we've got a juicer, a lab, a factory, and all these are different sort of flavors of battleground that are going to make up the map that we've got. And each map is slightly different and has different positives and negatives. Some characters are good on some strategy squares, some are bad. And the two sides are very well balanced actually. So for a beginner, if you're wanting to play this, I'm going to recommend you play as the Arcane, which is what I'm doing today. If you want to do strategy mode, you can do just 5 maps, or you can do 12. We're going to do the full 12 today. We're going to accept war. And the time is going to start after I read you the opening here. I am the observer. I watch over the planet Citroën Zara, and witness the Holocaust that has ravaged its peoples for 500 years. This conflict, which pits the arcane natives of Zara versus the alien Technos invaders, seems an endless, unholy war. Humans first appeared on Zara nearly 3,000 years ago. They arrived in crude starships, fueled by drained ore fragments. They had abandoned Earth, taking what with them there was little left. Their flight took decades, and no one speaks about the unfortunates left behind on Earth. So this is a strategy mode run with the Arcanes. We will begin in 3, 2, 1, let's go. So we are loading Crater Lake, which is the first map. I am going to introduce you first of all to the Moglin, who is a woman on a strange animal, and immediately I'm going to pass my turn, because I don't need to use all my turns. We're playing on easy difficulty today. And all the different characters have got suitable names. We may even see a Tesla called Elon. Katrina's going to move forward, and what I'm going to try and do is group these Technos together so that I can fight them all at the same time, which is going to save in cutscene time. I will also be making little save states just occasionally, such as now, because there's a very small chance of a bug with a cutscene. But here's the first fight. This is a Jaeger. Does a Jaeger run on Jaegermeister? Not quite. And we're in the lab, and the lab is a very good map, because we've got an energy cycle in the middle. That's the first fight done already. Hiya! And we get a refight, which saves on cutscene time. So if I get the energy in the middle there, I'm going to have infinite energy for a while. And each of these maps have got different pickups that you can grab. So you've got health, speed, which you've seen there, and invincibility. I have died. That's not a good start, but that's okay. Yo, JKL, welcome to the madness. Thank you for the raid. So one of the things the Moglin can do is that she can use her beast to power up with her power-ups, and she can send her demon out to fire those. We're going to use a Prana Devil as backup. The Prana Devil is really good in close combat situations near Hanunga. So a Prana can get in close and do a lot of biting. He can lay eggs to spawn. And we've got a Glen here. The Glen of Tranquility. Om nom nom. Tasty metal for the Prana. Go to main. So this is a cult classic game that probably not many of you know about, but it's a really cool little game because it's really easy to play as a speedrun to whatever level you want. Thank you, JKL. The Tesla is one of the very valuable Techno's creatures, but on the easy mode there's a lot of ways we can mitigate that, so you can often trick the AI into just playing dumb and being quite calm. Here I am. Let's fire some acid. Om nom nom. Tasty Tesla. And that's the first map done with already. So on the strategy mode you've got 12 maps of varying difficulties with restrictions. So in some maps you might not be allowed to use certain characters. On this first map I didn't have a base and I couldn't mine ore, but we'll get to that in a moment. We've got some reading to do. Before the humans came to Zara, the Magus lizards dominated the entire world. Their ancient civilizations sought knowledge as though it were gold. In the end, their curiosity was their doom. Today, only a few Magi wander their empty, sand-filled cities. We're going to go on to map 2, which is Mount Altus, and this is going to introduce the Angel. It's the Robbie Williams gambit, because the Angel is the most powerful creature in the entire game. He is the MVP. So not only is he an extremely strong melee fighter, but he can also transport himself great distances as long as you've got some ore, which is the currency of the game. Now I still don't have a base, but I do start off with a little bit of ore, so off we go, transport over here. And we're going to be fighting on the lab again, which is, as I mentioned, an extremely useful place to fight. You're about to see why, because this Angel is very angry indeed. Infinite energy. Oh. That was a good fight. One victory in. Here's Einstein. E equals MC squared. It's a really nice little meme game, this one, because you can see just how quickly you can do a Mayhem mode speedrun. And the world record for that is literally 1 minute 47, doing a 7-on-7 in the lab. So that was quite nice. I don't need to use any more of my turns. I'm going to pass. Here's a wasp. Now on the beginner level, wasps are not really a problem. But on the severe levels, oh my god, they're a pain in the arse. So, line up. Fire in one of the directions. Wasps have got energy beams that you can use to suck energy from you and freeze you in place. No problems today. That's a nice victory. We've only got maybe 10 or 15 runners of this game. We definitely want more people to run it. JKL, where's your run? I introduced JKL and Jugariel to this run during the exchange race a couple of years ago. They both found it quite fun. We did a Strat 5, which is 5 maps of strategy mode. Now, let's see. Here we go. The Kill Cycle is a really cool creature, but he just goes dumb doesn't realise there's a threat, and that's map 2 done with already. Lol. So usually in the strategy mode you see all the characters. The Exxon Ghostmasters reside in the most remote regions of Zara, where they perfect their horrifying rituals. By devouring the ectoplasmic shell cast off by a dying creature, the Exxons extend their sinister lives, perhaps indefinitely. The Arcane Alliance must be in desperate times indeed to have sought aid from the heinous Exxons. Now usually in strategy mode you don't use all the characters, but because we're doing a marathon I'm going to show them all off. So here's Under Moglin, and here's the Exxon who we've just seen, and I'm only going to move in one square, Hex, and you're wondering why am I only moving in one square when I could move in two? And it's an RNG manip, because it tricks the Razorfang into coming forward to meet his doom. The Wasp's going to retreat, and now each of us have bases. A base basically means that you can spend ore to buy and retire characters, kind of like mortgaging them in Monopoly. Here comes the Razorfang. So we're going to send the Moggle into the base, and we're going to send the Exxon to defeat the Razorfang. Exxons are really cool, sort of vibey characters. They've got giant electro whips and they can lay traps. So it should be a quite simple win. And when you get the energy whip hit, it slows the other guy down. Let's scream. And you can refill your energy from the opponent as well, which is nice. That's a happy Exxon. He'll sleep tonight. He must have type 12 diabetes eating souls for breakfast, however, I do not envy him. One of the nice things about this game is that you can get a good run without having to do the quote-unquote optimal strats. So there's a number of times when, because of the RNG, you can play with different characters as your taste prefers. We're in the Hive. Bouncy, bouncy. And the Hive is nice because it's got a regen corner in the centre. So you can see I'm quite low on health, but if I'm careful, I can get to this green plasma beam in the centre, refill all my health, start again. Big long tongue on the creature that she rides, and the character can grab power-ups with her tongue and then spit them back out at the enemy. So I mentioned JKL before. JKL, I know you're going to like what I do in Stage 4, because we're going to do an alternate strategy as we go to the Deadlands. Deadlands is interesting. Ore is a source of all magic. Its glowing, glittering surface bespeaks its wondrous gifts. Legend tells that there was no ore on old Earth's surface. What little could be found was taken from a ring of rocks floating in space, though that did not last long. And when the ore was gone, civilization on Earth collapsed into savagery. So the Deadlands is one of these maps where when you're playing as the Arcanes, you've got a bunch of wasps, and wasps are a pain in the arse because they're all stuttered out. But I'm going to introduce you to the Brontu. And the Brontu is a 6-legged Mega Rhino with some rather unique powers. Hopefully, if the RNG behaves, a couple of wasps are going to congregate together and fight me, and that's going to save on cutscene time, but for some reason this game seems to have very, very sensitive RNG, so we might be a little bit slow. But the Brontu is really cool because it can fart its way to victory. There we go. So no refight for him. That's a shame, but that's okay. You always want to try and get 1 or 2 refights, but again, it's a cosmetic difference really as much as anything. That wasp retreating is a little bit strange, but that's okay. On the top difficulty, wasps are really difficult, especially because you've got steel hallway here. And what they will do is they will follow you the very second that you even try and fly in the air. And then they'll use that energy zapping beam, and they'll make your life very difficult indeed. Now, we don't play on the hard difficulty because we're lazy. You know, speedrunners are like mathematicians. We like to just prove that it can be done and then go from there. But on the hard difficulty, there would be more interesting restrictions because you might not be able to play with certain characters. Technos and Arcanes are roughly balanced. Broadly, the Arcane is the better choice for if you want to play as a beginner or you just want to vibe. Technos has got more rounded characters. But we're in the Toxic Dump here. We're going to charge. And we're going to celebrate with a nice fart. I don't know about any of you, but I'm certainly at the age where I sometimes have days of never trust a fart. But if I leave these farts here, eventually the wasp will come and run into them, and she'll take damage. Now you would think that I would have no way of knowing what this sort of biological warfare would be like, but actually once I had a chess match against a guy who had his guide dog with him, and the guide dog cut one, and it was very, very unpleasant, so I know exactly what it's like. So we've destroyed the base. That means that they can't make any more enemies. We've just got to do some mop up here. We'll transport into the hive, which is the wasp's nominal home. But the hive is decent hex to go in because it's small and cramped, so you can push an advantage. Angels always have an advantage. The one disadvantage an angel has is it can't recharge its power in the air. So you see a yellow bar there? That's recharging, but it costs ore to use attacks. Nice ask. So the red bar is your health. Angels have got a nice high health. They've got a decent attack power. Into stage 5. When the Technos invaded Zara, the war raged for decades in a gruesome deadlock. There was no victor. Instead, the exhausted armies called a truce that would keep the Technos and Arcane nations in uneasy peace for centuries. The only common law was that no child of both nations should ever be born. We're going to go to the river crossing. We're going to show off the Fire Witch now. So I'm going to move my player forward from the base, and that's going to let me transport the Fire Witch forward, who is literally made of fire. We've all had a relationship like that, I'm sure. And again, we are going to go into the lab because we've got health pickups, we've got lots of opportunities for free energy. And I'm going to just set a few fires and let the Tesla walk into them, stomp down. There we go. And there's the health pickup, that's going to add 16 back. Fire Wishes don't have too much health. But one of the advantages is that you can fly with a Fire Witch and recharge your power forever. So they're one of the more powerful enemies because you can defend much more agilely. You don't have to sort of get back onto the ground and risk attacks. 8 health is not good. I've got to be a little bit more careful here, so let me be careful. Get the Jaeger to walk onto the fire, hopefully. Jaegers are big lumbering beasts. They're good in close combat, but they're quite bad for anything where you can run away and sort of triangulate. I do have to be careful with that crystal, however. And the good thing about this game is you've got areas such as the juicer and the volcano, certain maps that are good for training your skills on as a beginner. Now I would ideally like to wait to get some health back before I do my next fight here, because kill cycles can be a little bit difficult. They start out with a lot of ammo. Good, there's the health. And one new strategy I've discovered with the Fire Witches recently is to chase after an enemy when you've got decent health and keep laying fires, literally sort of hug them to death with fire. And if that isn't cool, I don't know what is. Now, yep, the kill cycle's gone dumb. He doesn't recognise I'm there. We can just kill him dead. Lol. Kill cycles are actually really powerful when you play as Technos, but they're hard to master. I'll just mention I'm making these save states because occasionally on these cutscene transitions, there's like a 1 in 1,000 bug where it freezes up. and it ruined one of my runs the other day. The Stygians, or Dark Angels, are the product of well-meant magic gone sadly wrong. Ancient wizards twisted human life patterns in an attempt to sculpt the perfect creature. Instead, they created a deeply flawed and angry species, whose weak eyes cannot bear the sunlight their souls crave. Ladies and gentlemen, the Republican Party. Ha ha ha. It would be funny if it weren't tragic. So in the Twin Keeps, the developers have said, oh look, we're going to create chasms, we're going to make it difficult for you. I'm not going to have any of that, because I'm going to mortgage a couple of my players, buy an angel, and then transport one angel with the other, all the way up the board. And then I'm going to use that angel to transport directly to the base. Which means that they're not going to be able to make any more creatures, and we're going to have things nice and quick. So the Juicer is a good defensive area, and if you're good at the game you can still get quick kills, but it certainly can be a little bit slower. Angels have got this nice sort of energy ray that they can drop that's very good for quick kills. You can especially usefully use it around corners, so those big square structures in the steel hallway. You can get by having to get in close, because angels can be a little bit vulnerable to melee attacks. Here's a Razor Fane come to kill us. No, thank you. I'm going to get you very easily indeed. Razor Fanes tend to suffer from the problem that they don't have really good long range attacks, so... Ow. Someone get him some paracetamol. He's had a bad day at the office. But yeah, the Angel is the MVP because they can transport anyone, they've got really good melee capabilities, they're not too expensive either. And here is a Mantis Ant. Mantis Ants are interesting because you would think they wouldn't be that powerful, but in a certain couple of maps on the Technos they're actually really useful characters. And a good all-round. You can see that he's firing pellets there to get his health back. Let's take it easy. Let's do a regeneration. And again, let's use the whole texture trick here to try and lure him in. Damage him from the side. There we go. That wasn't so bad. Halfway through already. In stage 7, I am going to introduce you to this little fella here. Piranha devils spawn in the deepest of caverns, venturing out only for food. The Magus lizards claim that before humans came to Zarden, the Magi accidentally released the piranha devils from an underground tomb, and that the slavering beasts almost overran the world before effective spells were found to keep them at bay. Now, I will admit, on the arcane side in the speedrun, the piranhas are not the strongest of fighters, but they are useful. You can also spend 10 ore to try and spawn new piranhas. That's good. So one of the strategies you can do in this game, especially when you've got 2 players, is like that. Keep spawning a bunch of them. You've basically got free health, free money. Nilsson, you say they're cute. You want to play this game and beat it on the hard difficulty, and then you'll see what cute means. Because there's no prey to the piranha. And the Mega Piranha that you get for beating on hard is an absolute demon character. So in the, is it factory, I think? That's not too bad for a piranha. Yeah, factory's okay. So we're going to lay a bunch of eggs. Make a little love. Lure him, wait. It's recycling day. Lots of aluminium for me, thank you very much. Nearly got the health. So yeah, piranhas are like good cannon fodder. And if you're playing 2-player, it would be interesting because you can have up to 10 characters per team, mixed, so you can mix Technos and Arcados. I don't know why they didn't let you do that in the main game, as we go to fight a Mantis Ant in the Proving Ground, which is his home. No, it's a factory, excuse me. I misspoke. But the good thing, because you can spawn multiple of these guys, you can be more aggressive. But this fight's going not too brilliantly, but that's okay. We'll just send for reinforcements. My best impression of a Mantis. No, I need to move them forward first. Hey, we spawned another one. I don't know whether to be happy for the piranhas that they can produce so much, or be sad for them because it's asexual. Answers on a postcard. Here's the Proving Ground. Piranhas are slightly vulnerable to Teslas because Teslas are really valuable. They're kind of like the second most valuable character in the game because they can fire long, big weapons from far away, and they can also lay energy crystals that fire beams of damage, so you've got to be careful. Let's just hide and wait. There's the invincibility. Now you're in trouble, old sunshine. Thank you. No refight. That's okay, we'll get the base next time. Really vibey game, this one, I think. And a Strategy 5 speedrun would be doing 5 maps of strategy mode. Don't ask me why they did that instead of 6, because 6 would be half of 12, but when I took over the board it was just like 5 or 12, so a 5 run would be like, what, 15 minutes? And again, you can play whichever characters you want. I'm lucky that on the easy difficulty the computer isn't very good at using the mantises, because they can lay gravity wells that suck you in. There we go. Now, can I get some health? Play defensively and rely. A good time today will be like 35-40 minutes. We'll be a bit lower than that, but we're having fun. There's me health. Come to get it. Tasty exoskeleton. Give me that energy. That's going to give me infinite energy for a few seconds. Acid. And that's stage 7 dealt with. Over halfway. I'm going to go into one of the longer stages. I'm going to use the double angel gambit again. Old stories tell that when ore was first used to power magnets, the Technists of old Earth rejected its mystical nature, and instead fed it to their infernal machines as fuel. The first wizards were so repulsed by this evil perversion of ore that they banished all Technists to space, and destroyed every machine on Earth. No internet. Oh dear. So into the mine, and this is one of the bigger complicated maps. We've got lots of characters. We're going to retire them, mortgage them off, and to be quick we're going to double angel, fling ourselves up the board. Let's go into the depths. And because you've got different arenas to fight on, you can, if you prefer fighting in a different arena, you can set up so you can play in an area that suits you better, which is nice. Let's get the Razor Fang first of all, because he'll run away. The one one annoying thing about this game is the RNG is slightly hard to perfect, but that just means that you're never going to get a perfect run, so you can relax with it a bit more, I guess, you know. We've also got mayhem modes for maps that aren't the lab, because you've seen just how quick the lab can be. But if you want to play on something a little bit more toothsome, we've got that option. If you win on normal mode, there are a couple of unlockable maps, which are the Dark Maze, which is huge, like twice the size of the other maps, and the Menhir Circle. So, plenty of options for your entertainment. I think it would be interesting to see people do this two-player. There's a lot of scope for strategy in that case, or maybe play on the hard level, like, I don't know, just... It's decently personalizable, you know. So when I was a kid, I used to love playing this game casually and playing the juicer with a Tesla, and just play defensively and grind to 100%, no deaths completion. And then I moved on to playing in the volcano, and just like, you can train yourself well with this one. Let's wait. Like, you can do it two-player if you're both on the same console, yes, absolutely. I would love to see people do that. I don't know whether net play is possible, but if you do two-player, then you can each have units from both sides in your arsenal, and you can set restrictions with each other, and you can mine ore and use map powers. I haven't actually touched on the map powers really, because they're not that well used, but the transporting that I've been doing with the Angel, each character has its own special map power, and you spend ore on those. You can spend ore on characters, and you can mine ore quickly with the Jaeger, and with the Brontu they go double fast. So if you're playing casually, you can literally just like point press to get like 10,000 ore, because the computer won't do anything if it's in a passive position. Ore can be found in low concentrations in all plant and animal life on Zora. In some creatures like the Brontu, accumulated ore empowers the creature with unbelievable strength, speed, and natural weaponry. For this reason, Brontus are often captured and dragged to the city, sad, for ceremonial battle circuses against scaled Daunts. Which is interesting because the game never tells us what Daunts are. But now it's the siege. We've got enemies from all directions, so what I'm going to do is retire a few of these guys. And we're going to transport this Brontu down here. Retire this guy. Transport the Magus Lizard. Because we haven't seen the Magus Lizard yet, but I am going to show you all the characters in the game. Yep. And then we will have him take on the Quicksilver. So Quicksilvers are like liquid shape-shifting, sexy Terminator 2 vibes. They're good close up, but they're vulnerable at a distance. And again, we're going to fart them to death, because of course we are. Dirty, dirty. There we go. Slick-legged rhinos for the win. And as I said, one of the main ways to gain time is to chain the cutscene skips together so that you get 2 fights at once. I'm not getting too many of them today, but there are certain manipulations that are very reliable for that. It just depends on what characters you use. So a perfect example was in Stage 4 in the Deadlands. If you use Angels, you're going to get a lot faster, because it's common for the Brontu skips not to really work. The Wasps tend to go a little bit scared, which is a shame. Now, a Brontu against a Jaeger, Brontus tend to be very good because you can, like here, when I've spawned right next to the guy, I can just muller him to death, basically. Jaegers are good when they've got time to get away from you, but no such luck for him. Sorry, bud. Victory fart. Nothing beats a bit of potty humour. Okay, so now let's look at Cronus, who is the Magus Lizard. Magus Lizards have got one big nice thing about them: they can fire birdies. And the birdies are really good because they don't cost too much of your power. You can use them at a distance forever. So they're good as sort of a holding pattern when you're low on health and you're waiting for a health pickup. I can also do a Starfall. If I can get their gauge to red, meteor sign, baby. That's a loyal dinosaur. He looks like Croc Legend of the Gobos, but sort of militarized, I think. Cute creature, not massively useful, but good as a backup. And then we will transport me to here. Oh no, we don't need to do that. Yeah, that's right. To there. So whenever I'm standing on ore hex, I will gain 20 ore for the next turn, or 40 if I'm using the strong character. And then you can use that to build up your reserves. You can use map powers that block characters from entering certain hexes. So like the Razorfane can erect a razor wall, the Fire Witch can erect a firewall, because she's good at IT apparently. It's nice because you can play your own way, but it's not too difficult. Like, there was a board game called Power, which I used to adore playing with my best friend when I was a kid. And this gives me similar vibes to that. I don't know if any of you guys have ever heard of that game, but it was really cool. It was like a military build-up strategy game. So, yeah. Let's see, he's already been moved. We don't need to do anything with the Bronto. Let's take out the Mantis. Desert is pretty good because we've got these warp pads. And you get a speed pickup as well, which can be useful for running away when you're underpowered or outmatched. As you can imagine, certain matches are in theory better or worse. So for a long time we thought that Technos were like a slightly... You played Power Cat, that's fantastic. I love that game. Adored it. It's so cool, like just... Lovely mix of like poker strats and board game elements. Yeah. Transport down here. But this game was a one-off as far as I know. There's been no sequels, no remakes. Well, I don't know if there's a way to play that online, but if we ever find a way, then I'm down to do that with you. New friendship unlocked. So let's fart a wasp today, because of course... And it's cool because, like, if you're not brilliant at fighting games, but you like something with that bent, this is a good game to just play mindlessly. You know, you don't have to quote-unquote speedrun it. You can just play and have fun with it and do it your way. Do a full campaign, you know? I was hoping today we would see the appearance of the Razorfane called Spears. I saw them the other day and I lovingly refer to that as a Britney Spears run. Not today, it seems. Game is behaving, which is nice. Yo, Arnold, how you doing? I'm playing the Unholy War here, which is a cult PlayStation game I grew up with. Thank you. I'm playing Mercs very soon as well. I've got plenty to talk about with the Unholy War, but I will just mention to you all that Mercs is my favourite speedrun of all time, so I'm stoked to be able to show that one off to you all as well. This run is going decently enough. So yeah, on the arcane side, the Angel is the best character. On the techno side, it's more nuanced actually than you would think. And of all the arcane races, the Fire Witches are the most remote, even though they said it was the Prowlers earlier, lol. They live in fiery calderas and rarely venture out into our colder realms. Many years ago, at a conclave between the arcane nations, a Fire Witch appeared and told the assembly to beware the Piranhas. Never let them grow to adulthood. This remains a mystery. That's what we alluded to earlier, where you can beef up the Piranha in the game by beating middle. So let's go to the crater. I'm going to retire everyone again. And then we'll do the double angel. Because it's quicker. Hope you're all staying cool and hydrated as well out there. It's a lovely, beautiful summer's day here. I will just mention when I say that, just because I know what I'm talking about with this, when people say hydrated, please do remember that does not just mean drinking water, it means getting adequate minerals as well. Get your salt up, get your magnesium, get your potassium, your muscles need those to live. It's very humid. Yeah, I live in a very humid place, so at times it can be like full humidity with a thunderstorm. I like it personally, but there we go, that's just me. Like, I used to work in a pizza store, so I used to hate it, but as I've gotten older, I find that I'm getting more susceptible to the cold.
Victory.
Rayo? No. No, bud. Hello, Rayo, lovely to see you. I will just mention, while Rayo is here, taking a defeat there, shamelessly. Beer can be hydrating a little bit, yes, absolutely. Toilet water? Damn, man. I knew NES runners were, like, lowbrow. I didn't know you were that lowbrow. But yeah, while Rayo is here, I will also mention my third game on Saturday is a homebrew that he and I know all too well. We are going to be running the Legends of Aulia. So stick around for that one. And I will also mention I owe Rayo a run of, what's it called? Steel Moons. So maybe next year I'll do that for this marathon. We've got a big NES block tomorrow. We've got Junkyard Dave, we've got JKL. I personally am also later on today looking forward to watching Little Nemo. That's an absolutely gorgeous game. Steel Moons is definitely scary, yes. That was a good kill. Like, Steel Moons is one of those games where I feel like I'm operating at my peak power, but if there was only one game I could play to defend us against aliens from humanity, it would be Mercs. That's the game coming up. That's my game. Okay. There we go.
Victory.
That's a nice victory. Get the raid out, it's a Mantisan. I remember what I was talking about. You haven't tried Genesis Mercs Arnode? I will be giving you a very, very easy guide to that soon. It's a really cool run. But I was talking about the Technos. I'll get to that in a moment. 20 years ago, the most fundamental law of Zara was broken when a rogue Quicksilver named Katrina and a rebellious angel called Andrus fled to hide in the Deadlands. Eventually, they were captured and separated. Had they borne a child, the Unholy War would surely have destroyed all of Zara. This makes no sense. We're fighting an Unholy War. It's in the title. Oops. Here's the Great Void. Again, I'm just going to retire these two and double angel it, because I'm lazy. I don't blame the developers at all. I think they probably intended for people to work out this shortcut. I just wish that there was a little bit more depth to the game than there is. Because once you've done easy, it's like you don't really feel like doing medium or hard. So I mentioned earlier about angels being able to do the whole energy thing from trying like that. So we can play a game of hide and seek, ring around the Rosie, and kill the Jaeger without having to take a drop of health. Which is nice. Ooh, run away. Run away. Yeah, Jaeger, Jaeger, Jaeger.
Victory.
So, to discuss the Technos. Basically, you would think that the Techno's strongest character is the Tesla, and that's the end of it. But as we've developed the theory of Mayhem Mode, and as we've looked at the ways to apply that to strategy mode, a lot of the Techno's characters are actually very, very strong indeed. So, kill cycles can be absolutely deadly. Mantis Ants can be very good in the right circumstances. Jaegers can be good in close combat. Ooh, this is not going well. Ah. Oh, that's disgraceful. That's okay, I'm a Klingon. Today was a good day today. So yeah, like, in theory, the Arcane is the easier side to get a good time with. That Wasp was retired because she had low health. Which should still be in time to stop him making any new creatures, it's okay. But on the Techno side, like, if you lose a character and you have to use one of your backups, it's going to be more consistent and reliable. I personally prefer the Technos. Like, the only bad character is the Wasp, whereas for the Arcane, the Magus is kind of useless except in really close combat. The Prana is useless, and the Fire Witch isn't brilliant, because a Fire Witch can be really vulnerable if things go wrong. So... Thank you. One map to go. We are going to go to Kenai. Hope you're enjoying this run, that it's inspired some of you to pick up this wonderful game. To remind you, Mayhem Mode can be as short as a 5-minute speedrun. You don't have to do strat mode, you could do strat 5. Great cracks spread across the land, but enough about my arse. Ragged and deep, they are never explored for fear of the Prana Devils who teem in their depths. Most Arcanes say the ruptures stem from deep Techno's energy wells. The Technos themselves don't seem to care, and the Magus Lizards simply bow their heads with great sadness and say nothing. It's on to Kenai, it's the final battle. We are going to wipe the Technos vermin off the face of the planet forever. So, I am going to do a little bit of retiring. And then in this map, the Technos start with a lot of ore and a lot of characters. So, what I'm going to do is pass a turn, because I don't want them to create new characters by creating spaces for them to spawn. Because this is going to take a little while. There'll be a short intermission after this before we set up the next run, by the way. Take a little drink of water, cool down. You can see you've already created yet another one, so that's going to be quite a lot. And the Tesla's going to teleport. They can teleport anywhere on the map. So it's a very powerful creature indeed. Let's move this guy forward and transport him. Transport him into here so that they can't make any more creatures. It's fighting time. I think it's really cool that these maps have actually got these little secrets in like this, because I literally never thought of this whole distance beam strap until a few days ago when I was de-rusting this run. It never came to me before, even though I've been playing this game for, what, 25 years? So yeah, there's always something new to discover. There's only been a few of us have done full runs of the game. I'd love to see more of you do it. Quicksilvers can be difficult because they've got an energy shield, and if the computer is very good, they can reflect any attack I make. So again, we'll do the lazy strats. I love how they've even made her owl sound cute. It's really cool attention to detail. Ow. Ow.
Victory.
And one of the map abilities I might make use of in this one is Moglin's Cure, so they can do a little bit of healing for you. Because my angel is a little bit low on health here. Ha 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 ha. Victory. Three health. I could still do this. Let's see if we can do this one. What you might notice, what you might also notice is when you're firing, the game will try and align you into like a cardinal direction. So there are times when you'll want to fire 45 degrees and you can't because of the way the game is set up. Robbie Williams, save us. And I'm running this just on standard BizHawk. PlayStation emulation is pretty solid. I've got rid of my webcam image because it can be a little bit sensitive sometimes. Slightly higher load on CPUs if you've got an old one, like I've got an i5, so it's a bit potato, but we're good. The Wrath of the Angel is upon us. Give me the health, give me the health. Give me the energy. Bye-bye.
Victory.
I'm not sure what you mean, Nelson, but that sounds cool. Ooh, here we go.
Victory.
Thankfully, we've had no cutscene crashes. That could have been awkward. Like, I thought it was an emulator issue, and then it happened the other day on this, and I was like, oh, that's a fly in the ointment. Oh, I see what you're saying now. Yes, I understand about the webcam thing. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I'll have my webcam back on for the next run. I've got idents for all the little games I've done, so just like little representations. It's a little slideshow. Nearly done. Just a wasp and a Tesla. And I'll just mention again that if you beat the game on medium and hard, you get extra characters. So if you want to check out what those look like, then you can look at the Mega Prana and the Beta Razor runs on Speedrun. And if you want a meme category, that could be the category for you, because those things are bloody lethal. We've created a separate category where you have to beat all 14 characters with just a Beta Razor or Mega Prana, no deaths, because they are that strong. So. Hi, Elon. Bye, Elon. Citroen 1, Tesla 0. Time. The Arcanes have won a glorious victory. August victory indeed, even though it's only June. That's the game. And there's the Bronto, our favourite character, rewarding us. The Techno's invaders have been vanquished. By defeating this last Techno stronghold, you have accomplished a major step in the perfection of your skills. Now you must face a more difficult challenge. Beat this and you shall receive a great boon. Thank you for the GGs. So that is the Unholy War, a thoroughly interesting speedrun. You can see that we've unlocked the normal difficulty now, and we've got hard. You can play as Technos or Arcane across any of these, you can play them individually. It's a really cool run, give it a try. We are going to take a brief intermission. I am going to get some wet water, and I'm going to be back with a very special treat, not just for me, but for you guys. We're going to play not just my favourite game, but my favourite speedrun of all time. We're going to play Mercs on the Genesis. It's going to be wonderful. So stay tuned, and we will be back shortly.